Hello and welcome to Dead Guy Ale, a super iconic black-white deck. The deck has a ton of disruption and we use it against interactive decks to strip their removal so our creatures can get in and do their thing. We're using it against non-interactive combo decks to take their setup cards and their combo pieces so they can't win the game. These three will be seen in pretty much every single deck. Duress is a no-brainer and one of the best cards in the format. Hypnotic Spectre is also really annoying. And Gerard's Verdict is definitely the worst card in my opinion. I personally prefer to play Mesmeric Fiend or something where I can actually choose the card that I'm taking. But many decks will play both of these cards together and a whole ton of disruption. For removal, we have Swords to Plowshares, super efficient, and Vindicate, super inefficient, but it can take out anything. Also, because we're playing black and white, we have a ton of options, so really you can play whatever you need and whatever you're thinking you're going to face. For creatures, these are the most common, and you'll definitely see Hypnotic Spectre in every deck, whereas you'll see the others in some form of combination. But we are playing black-white, which means we have a whole ton of options depending on your metagame and what you'd like to beat. For value, we've got Phyrexian Arena and Skeletal Scrying to help us draw cards. I definitely prefer Arena and think it's the best one. Tainted Pact can also be really good to find a specific card, but it can be risky at times. For speed, we've got Dark Ritual. Obviously, this deck is quite slow, so it's great to have something that can put one of these cards out on turn 1. There's not much choice for black-white lands, we just have Caves of Koilos, there's no fetch lands, so unfortunately we have to play Tainted Field. It's not the best, but there's not really many other options. You could also play City of Brass, or maybe Reflecting Pool or Gemstone Mine, however most decks tend to play Tainted Field. And we are playing Wasteland to take out those annoying non-basics. The mana base does require a lot of coloured mana, so that is something we need. For the sideboard, we have tons of options. White gives us so many options, black gives us options. You definitely want Discard, Graveyard Hate, something for against red decks and Engineered Plague, but there's really so many options. Now, when playing against it, you really need to remember that this deck will make you discard cards, so you have to plan around them making you discard stuff. You also have to remember that Vindicate can blow up your lands and permanents that other decks might not be able to always deal with. I also find that cards that generate card advantage or make a mass ton of things can really punish this deck, as most of its interaction tends to be 1-for-1. So if you have anything that can make a bunch of stuff, you're going to do alright. So we're a mid-range deck, which means against aggro we're trying to slow them down while we can grind them out, and against control and combo we're trying to disrupt them while we beat them down with our creatures. Just really standard mid-range stuff. The strengths of this deck, it's highly customizable. You can really play a very different build depending on what you want. It's very straightforward, and the discard informs what you want to do and what you want to play as you get to see your opponent's hand. The weaknesses, it's very fair, it's not doing anything crazy or broken, and decks going over the top of us like Landstill or just generating a huge amount of card advantage that we can't deal with. So here's an example list. But as always, I do recommend you check out TC decks because this deck can be super customizable and you'll want to check out all the different options.